book lady, and boy, I brought two very different books. But there's also something about them that's very alike. And we're going to talk about that. First book we're going to read is called Blast Off. Don't you love that? You know, this attracted me, just the drawing. I liked the illustrations. Remember, the grown-up word for the pictures is the illustrations. It's by Linda Cain and Susan Rosenbaum, and it says illustrated by Leo and Diane Dillon. We don't know if they're married or if they're brother and sister, but I like the way the Dillons draw. Then, there's a story behind this book. I was in the attic and we had boxes of stuff and we were clearing out stuff from the attic. I mean, the dust was that thick. You could have made a sweater with it. Well, I found one of my favorite books. I read this to all my children. They loved it. Read it again, read it again. So I brought Tacky the Penguin. And I had to get a wet cloth and wipe the dust off. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Helen Lester wrote this, and we're going to have fun with this one. But let's start off with Blast Off, okay? Oh boy. For as long as she could remember, Regina Williams wanted to become an astronaut. Do you know what an astronaut is? Nod your head if you do. Maybe you don't know what it is. It's the person who goes in a rocket to outer space. Yeah. She dreamed about it, she talked about it, and she drew pictures of astronauts anywhere and everywhere. One day, Regina was drawing a rocket ship on the sidewalk in front of her house. Two of her friends walked over to look at the picture. She probably drew it with sidewalk chalk. Have you ever used sidewalk chalk? It's fun. Until it rains. What are you doing, Regina? Can't you see? I'm drawing a picture. Yeah, but that's a funny shaped thing, asked Missy. That's a rocket, Regina answered. Someday, I'm going to be an astronaut and fly a real spaceship. I'll zoom through the sky into space. I'll find new worlds and maybe meet new people, and I'll come back and be famous. Missy looked at Rico and they both just laughed. Stop kidding us, Regina, Rico said. You'll never be an astronaut. Regina sighed. Don't you guys care about anything but fooling around? Rico and Missy just shook their heads and walked away. Regina went back to her drawing, but somehow the rocket didn't look as good as it had before. Probably because their feet were scuffing it. She walked up the street to the empty lot and she found some pipes, boxes, cans, and an old tire. Wow, this stuff will make a great spaceship. Regina piled a few boxes on top of each other. Then she took an old trash can that had been kind of mashed by the street cleaners. This will be my space capsule. Regina began to get excited as she worked on her spaceship. She worked very hard. Would her dream of being an astronaut really come true? What do you think? Let's see. At last, the spaceship was ready for blast-off. Regina sat down in the seat. Ooh, It felt great to be at the controls of her spaceship. The controls are where all the buttons and levers and, yeah. She checked the controls, and then she counted down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Whoa! All of a sudden, Regina could feel the ship shaking around her. My ship is moving. I'm leaving the ground. Regina sat frozen in her seat. It's really true. I'm moving through the sky into space. As Regina looked through a hole in the capsule, her eyes grew wide in wonder. She saw the blue-green earth below her. Whoa. Wow. I never would have guessed that the earth was so small. The blackness of space was dotted with stars. Look at all those stars, she said. Oh, there are so many of them. What's that? Whoa, wait a minute. What's that thing coming at me? I'll bet it's a weather station. It can tell the weather way ahead of time. I wonder what all those other things are floating in space. I just love this picture. Do you see the weather station? It's right there. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Regina leaned back in her seat, and she began to get a funny feeling in her stomach, the kind that comes from being alone. It looked as if the blackness of space would never end. It's getting so lonely up here, she said quietly. Bang! What was that? Oh, it shook the whole ship. It must have been a meteor or something. Bam! Help! Oh, help! My ship is being hit from all sides. It feels like it feels like it's falling apart. Crash! All of a sudden, everything was quiet again. Regina had closed her eyes because she's a little bit afraid. She opened them. And she slowly crawled out of her spaceship. Rico and Missy ran up to her. Where have you been, Regina? We've been looking for you. I just went on a trip into outer space. The only trip you ever took was off this pile of junk, Rico said. No, I was in outer space. I saw a weather station and some meteors banged into me. Rico and Missy just looked at each other. Oh, come on! You were just dreaming, Rico said, laughing. Regina didn't say anything. She just looked at them with a knowing smile. Do you know what a knowing smile is? She knew something they didn't know. She wasn't going to get into it with them, so she just gave them a knowing smile. I love this book, and I mean, even the back. I love the pictures. What do you think really happened? Do you think she made the capsule space rocket, got in and fell asleep and had a dream? Do you think maybe a trash truck picked it up, not knowing there was a girl in there, and then just dropped it? We never will know the answer to that. But if I had to guess, I think she made her rocket ship and she was in there, and I think she just fell asleep and had a nice dream. Because this was her dream, to be an astronaut. Do you have a dream? Is there something you really, really want to be? Maybe you want to be a famous artist. All your drawings are in a museum. Well, you know what? Dreaming is free, and you can do it. And often, if you pursue it, what's that mean? Stay with it, stay with it. It'll come true. Okay. I'm going to do something I've never done. The book lady has never done this. Look, I brought another outfit. Oh, yeah. And guess what else the book lady's got to do? I have lots of glasses. Did you know that? Do you know why I have lots of glasses? Because I have to wear glasses. So I figure if you have to wear glasses, you might as well have fun. Right? So here we go. And I always use a glasses case. Put my glasses in there. Then they don't get scratched. Now I've got the right outfit for Tacky the Penguin. And I even love the picture in the back. See those penguins? And do you see who's last in line? That's Tacky. And he wears a Hawaiian shirt like the book lady. Do you have a Hawaiian shirt? We happen to like Hawaiian shirts at my house. Okay, here we go. There once lived a penguin. His home was a nice icy land he shared with his companions. Now your companions, it doesn't necessarily mean your friends. It means you're a group that hangs together, takes care of each other, okay? His companions were named Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect. How about those names? His name was Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird. Well, see, his companions thought he was strange. He didn't act the way they thought he should act. Every day, Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect greeted each other quietly and politely. Tacky? Well, he greeted them with a hearty slap on the back and said, "What's happening?" Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect always marched. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tacky? He always marched 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2.5, 0. His companions were graceful divers. Oh, yes. Tacky liked to do splashy cannonballs. But it looks like fun. Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect always sang pretty songs like Sunrise on the Iceberg. Tacky always sang songs like, How many toes does a fish have? Tacky was an odd bird. One day, the penguins heard the thump, thump, thump of feet in the distance. So they heard. This to them meant danger. This could mean only one thing. Hunters had come. They came with maps and traps and rocks and locks, and they were rough and tough. As the thump, thump, thump drew closer, the penguins could hear their growly voices. We're gonna catch some pretty penguins, and we'll march them with a switch, and we'll sell them for $1 and get rich, rich, rich. Goodly, lovely, Angel, neatly and perfect, ran away in fright. They hid behind a block of ice. Tacky stood alone. The hunters marched right out to him, chanting, we're gonna catch some pretty penguins and we'll march them with a switch and we'll sell them for $1 and get rich, rich, rich. What's happening? Blared Tacky, giving one hunter an especially hearty slap on the back. We're hunting for penguins, that's what's happening. Penguins? Do you mean those birds that, let's see, they march neatly in a row? And he marched 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2.5, 0. The hunters looked puzzled. I love this one because he's doing a cartwheel instead of marching. Can you do a cartwheel? I can't do a cartwheel. I never been able to do a cartwheel. But now I'm old, so I really can't do a cartwheel. Do you mean those birds that dive so gracefully? And he did a splashy cannonball. The hunters got wet. Wait. Do you mean those birds that sing such pretty songs? Tacky began to sing. And from behind the block of ice came the voices of his companions, all singing loudly and dreadfully as they could. How many toes does a fish have? How many wings on a cow? I wonder, yep, I wonder. The hunters could not stand the horrible singing. Ooh, this could not be the land of the pretty penguins. They ran away with their hands clasped tightly over their ears, leaving behind their maps and traps and rocks and locks, and not looking at all rough and tough. Goodly, lovely, Angel, neatly and perfect, hugged Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird, but a very nice bird to have around. I mean, Tacky kind of saved the penguins. Those hunters wanted to trap those penguins and probably take them to a zoo somewhere, but they were going to sell them to the zoo and get money and get rich, rich, rich. And Tacky just acted like himself. And the thing was, he did not act like a penguin, the way we think penguins act. But guess what? penguins are like people. They're not all exactly the same. And Tacky was an odd bird. Do you know any of your friends who might be odd birds? Maybe you're an odd bird. You know, I'll be honest. Some people think I'm an odd bird. But it's okay. As long as we are who we are. You don't have to be like everybody else. So that's what makes me think these two books have something in common. Tacky was who he was. He didn't dress like a penguin. He didn't behave like a penguin. He didn't swim or dive like a penguin. And he didn't sing like a penguin. Tacky did his own thing. But, you know, again, I turn to this picture because I love it. They still were friendly. They were companions. They all lived on the same iceberg. But I think these penguins thought they were better than Tacky. They thought Tacky was, let's see, tacky. But when push came to shove, guess what? Tacky really saved their lives in his own style. He had his own style. Now, blast off. Regina was different than the other kids. She had a dream. What was her dream? Can you remember? Her dream was to be an astronaut. It's all she thought about. If she wanted to draw pictures, she didn't do flowers or a house or a bird in a tree. She drew outer space. She drew rocket ships. That's what she wanted to be. She wanted to be an astronaut. That was her dream. But her friends, they even said, what was it they said to her? They said they couldn't understand why all she wanted to do was talk about or draw, or everything had to be space, space, space. You'll never be an astronaut, is what they told her. And she knew in her head, I may not ever be an astronaut, but it's my dream. And I'm allowed to have my dream. And don't mess with my dream. And Tacky had his style. Don't mess with Tacky's style. See, I wore my Tacky shirt, except, you know, I don't think it's really that tacky. I think it's a nice shirt. What do you think? Huh? And these are my cool party glasses. Do you like them? All right. So I thought these books are very different. The first thing you notice is this book is called a hardback, right? This book is a paperback. So see, they're immediately different. This book is about people. People, Regina, Missy, Rico, they're people. They're kids. This book is about penguins. So see, there are many things that are different, but both of them have a character, Tacky, Regina, who just did their own thing. And I think that's nice. I hope you do your own thing. Now, where do you think I got, well, we know where I got this book. I got this book out of my attic, and let me tell you something. This book was, about close to 40 years old. Still a great story. You know, books can get old and still be so good. That's a great thing about books. I got this book where? Come on. Where'd I get it? The library. Did you get your library card yet? Go to the library with the grown-up in your life. And if you can just print your name, they will give you a library book. And you go in that library. They're books that are all the way down to the floor, all the way up where you can't reach them. And you just pull out books. And sometimes what makes you pull a book out is you like the drawings. Now see, the books are in like that. So all I saw was this red, right? But I pulled it out. Ooh, I like this. Don't you like that? So then I got a few more books. Well, I don't like that one as much, but I'll look at it. I usually get about 4 books, and I sit down. They have really comfortable chairs and big stools things, and you can just sit. I can even put my legs up, and I read the book. I look at the pictures, and I think, would my friends on the Book Lady like this book? And I thought you guys would like Blast Off. I really did. And I hope you did. But here's the page I like. And you know what? I read this to my granddaughter, and she read this page by herself. She loved the way they made the numbers go down. 10, 9, 8, and each number gets a little bigger, until 1 is big, and blast off. 2 words, blast off. And that's the name of the book. And I just said, yeah, the Book Lady has to read this. This is a good one. If I had had a helmet that I could have put on, like, see, she has a helmet, I would have worn it, but I didn't have one. Sorry. But when I came across Tacky, I said, I have to read this book. And you know, I had 5 children. They all loved this book. And I told them, you're never going to believe what I'm reading on the Book Lady. I'm reading Tacky. Oh, they were so excited that I was going to read Tacky. So I brought Tacky and read it to you. I hope you love Tacky the way I love Tacky. I mean, let's see, where's the picture I love? Well, this kind of sums it up. See all those penguins? They're scared. Oh my gosh, we hear hunters. Oh, what are we going to do? And they all, nobody will make a decision. They're just, let's go hide. But I love when Tacky says, oh, I'm not going to hide. And he just stands there. Hi. Oh, this has been fun. I am the Book Lady, and I hope you had fun with me today, and come back, and remember, I'm on YouTube. Bye-bye.